This video will explain why you should not work with a mod that is in a zip form or work on it if you have it unzipped in the Unpacked folder. Whether it's zipped up or whether it's unzipped and unpacked, what it's going to do, anything you change in the game working on the level is going to put it in the user folder in levels. It'll create a folder that it's going to just be nearly impossible to get the stuff moved over. There's a lot of problems that can happen with that, but just to show you, so we'll put the game over here and we'll do a terrain change, just a slight terrain change. Now we save our level. And you can immediately see over here, it created a user folder that contains the change we just made to the terrain. Now I didn't do anything with any decals, but well, it put that there too. Alright, say we want to change something with the terrain paint. We're going to change something related to the texture. It's just, I ain't got much room here. Terrain material library. So, these rocks here. Alright, so, oops, wrong ones. So these rocks here that we're painting, say we decide to change the scale, and we say, you know, scale that up to 64. And we save changes. Look what it did. Over here in the art folder, in terrains, it made a adjustment, or it updated what we just did here. Whichever one it is. So now you got a lot of you got multiple files over here that are all changes you've done to the level that's still zipped or unpacked. All right, let's see. Let's I don't know. Let's make another decal, and let us just say, well, you know what, you be Dirt Road, I don't know. And we save changes again. Then look here, that got updated. Or one of them got updated. Something got updated. But you get the idea. A lot of stuff starts to change. Like this new decal we just made got put here. None of this stuff is being updated in the mod folder. Nothing is being saved in here. Well, I know that because it's zipped. It can't. And if it's unpacked, it still treats it like it's zipped. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't write anything in there. So pretty much whatever you do to your level, it's not updating it in there. So what are you going to do when it comes time to actually share your level? We're going to have a big problem. Because you're going to have to open up the levels. You're going to have to go and say, okay, which one of these? Okay, and should that overwrite that one, or this one, or that one, or this one? Well, you see, that's just a problem. So mucho problema, senor. See, if you make a new material, let's do that. Let's make a new material. Let's make a new terrain paint. You know what? Let's just make a new material, just regular standard old material. We're gonna say, you know what? Let's make a new one. Let's make a new material and let's call it Big Turd. I don't know. Call it whatever you want to call it. Don't matter to me. Just create it, and you say, well, you know what? I don't know. We'll just doesn't matter. We'll just make it good old brown. Now we save those changes, and we go to our user folder here. In the art folder in main.materials, we got a big turd. But guess where that big turd is not at? Well, my friends, it's not going to be in the zip or the unpacked. Nope. You can go in here and look. We're in the art folder, yet no main.materials in there. Alright. So now that's something else you got to put over here. And I can tell you this, if there was already a main.materials in here, that you already created a few other textures, and you ended up, getting it packed or zipped or whatnot, and you add after the fact. It isn't as simple as just copying this main.materials and overriding this one with the updated one, because this is not going to contain any that are already in here. It's only the new stuff you do. You make new stuff, it only puts new stuff here. It doesn't change existing stuff. Say you got a river. You got a majestic river that's just flowing from here to there, right? And say at some point you decide, you know what, I think this river should bend. And you save your changes. Well, guess where that's getting saved? In one of these. There it is, new river. So you can see pretty much it does no good to have everything zipped up or run in the unpacked folder. I can tell you this, a good friend of mine, Havoc NG, when he made a level a long time ago, he shared the level with me, and when I loaded it, all I saw was a small little red box in the middle of the screen that was supposed to be the terrain. Nothing else was there. Because he thought, and just like I thought too at the time, well, you can just copy stuff from one place to the other and override it and then just save it. Now, you can already see that that creates a big problem. Even if, now say this is a developer level. Now, developer levels are a little different, because everything they need are already loading out of the install folder. They're loading out of the content levels. Say Hiroshima Raceway, for example. This contains every bit of everything needed for that level to load. However, if you decide, you know what, I'd like to change Hiroshima. I think Hiroshima needs a little touch up here or there. Well, you can see in the user folder here, there is no Hiroshima. Now, this is an exception to making your own level that does not exist in the user folder. I'm sorry, it does not exist in the install folder. So this is completely dependent on everything that's in there. Whereas a developer level, you can edit just some things and share that. I'll show you what I mean. We'll load Hirochi. Hirochi. So we decided Hiroshi, well, Hiroshi needs a big old mound of dirt here. So we saved that. Now in the user folder in levels, you'll see there is a Hiroshi Raceway, which contains, just like the other, all the stuff that you changed to Hiroshi, but only that stuff. Now since everybody has Hiroshi all installed with the game, you can compress this to a zip file, send it to your buddy. He can take the zip file and open it and put that Hiroshi in his levels folder, assuming he hasn't already done anything to Hiroshi. And when he loads Hiroshi, well, he'll see this. I believe some people may have made some mods that's all they did, so that when you download, like, say, West Coast with snow, well, it's just loading the things they made. You know, it's not the entire level. But if you want to make an entire level, to share an entire level, then you can see why you would not want to be working on your level in a unpacked or zip form. You want it in the user folder. How would that look different? Well, if you go to the mod folder and you look at the zip file and you look at levels and you open this and you see, okay, this would be the folder here that you would copy to your clipboard, and that would be the one that you would put in here. Now, having it in here like this opposed to in zip form, oh yeah, you'll want to you'll have to repack it after the fact, but at least this way, with it here like this, anything you do now, it's saving in here. You make a new river or a new lake, it's going to throw it in there, or wherever. You make a new decal or make anything, mess with the terrain. If you mess with the terrain, well, that's the terrain file that's getting saved. Whatever you do now, it's all coming back to this folder and being saved. So then later, when you want to pack it as a zip file, well, to be shared all as one thing, then you can do that. And you know that all the stuff that you did will all be saved to it, with some exceptions. Things that are extra stuff like particles, different things. Some things do save in other places. That stuff being the Lua folder, for example, or the art folder that's related to particles. There's a lot of different things that go into packing a mod. You can also have vehicles packed in your level. So in your zip file, you'd have, if you got vehicles that are saved as prefabs, and you would have vehicles in here. Or if you got anything from the commons folder, it'd be in here. But all this stuff would be zipped together. But now you can see why you would not want to work on it here or uncompressed. Now I can tell you this, that when you go to compress a level that's in the user folder, it's going to be a bit of work, because the game packer will not take into account other things. It'll only take into account the level. It's up to you to put them vehicles in there and to put modified particles in there and other things in there. But if you're just talking about just level editing without all extra fancy things, you're not putting packing mods, you're not making new particles. You're just sticking to the basics, and pretty much you still got to pack it. It's gonna have problems. It just does. I don't know. Always have problems. So how's it packed? Well, you'd make a folder like this, for example, and then you would take your level when you're ready to share it, like that part of the level, and you would just move it into this new folder here. So it's no longer in the game, it's here. Now, I haven't packed a lot of these, so I got to look my damn self. See how the structure, folder structure. So there'll be a folder you have to make called levels. And then in there will be another folder, which would be that. And then in that folder is how it is laid out. Now, if you have vehicles or you had edited particles or anything else that are going to be included in your pack level, then they would go here. Like any Lua folder, any modified vehicles, anything like that would also go in here, but they'd be in their own folder. Then when you get ready to zip it, you would take, say, if there was 3 or 4 or 5 folders in here, you'd pick them all and you'd zip it, compress the zip file. And what that would do is create a zip like this. So if you opened it up, you'd see your levels, you'd see art, vehicles, Lua, whatever. That's how you'd have to have it in a zip. But I think that's it. I think I talked enough. I got a headache now. But I think you should be able to see now why it's not good to try to work in 2 different places like that.